Station Houston on 2, 1 minute to the start of the event. Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
UNISPACE, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Jim Green in Vienna. How do you hear me?
Hello, Jim. We hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station. It's great to hear your voice again.
I am Simonetta Di Pippo, the Director of the Office for Outer Space Affairs, and welcome everybody to this very special part of our UNISPACE Plus 50 celebration. An in-flight call with the International Space Station is really a great honor for us, and I really welcome, and again, it's a great honor for us to have the ISS crew with us. And here, I would like to mention that together, the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space and our friends and partners in Vienna are all together here to mark the 50th anniversary of the first United Nations Conference on the Exploration and Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, and to raise awareness of the benefits of space for humankind. Okay? So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jim Green, NASA Chief Scientist, who will lead today's call. We also have with us United Nations Champion for Space, Scott Kelly, former NASA astronaut, who also spent a lot of time on the space station.
Thank you very much, Simonetta. And thank you to the crew for taking time in your very busy schedule to be able to talk to us here at UNISPACE Plus 50 as you orbit our planet 400 kilometers above, running at 28,000 kilometers per hour. Absolutely amazing. It's a marvel of modern technology for us to be able to have the opportunity to bring you into our conference venue. Here we are in Austria. We are with hundreds of representatives from more than 100 countries. So, can the ISS crew please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Well, thank you, Jim, for the great introduction. It's a pleasure for us to be here and be part of this conference, and we hope we can share some insights into our life on the space station and the benefits of being here. I'm a NASA astronaut and commander of Expedition 56, Drew Feustel from Detroit, Michigan.
I am Oleg Artemiev, Russian cosmonaut from Russia. By the way, in Russia, now World Championship in soccer. I invite you, after conference, go to Moscow.
Hi, I'm NASA astronaut Ricky Arnold, originally from Maryland in the United States and currently live in Houston, Texas. Well, currently live on the International Space Station, but I'll go back home to Houston, Texas.
I'm Russian cosmonaut Sergei Prokopiev. I'm from Russia.
ESA astronaut Alexander Gerst. I'm European with German nationality. Hi everybody to Vienna.
And I'm NASA astronaut Serena Anand Chancellor, originally from Fort Collins, Colorado.
And back to Drew. You know, you are the latest in the series of crew members that have been living and working in space every day for almost 18 years. The question, my first one, is to the commander on station, Drew Folstel. Drew, based on your experience, why is international cooperation important for space exploration?
Hi, Jim. You know, I think that's a question that to us seems obvious right now, and because I believe we're in the infancy of space exploration, and right now the costs are so great, and the complexity of the work that we do, and the effort it takes to get large components off the surface of the Earth, we really need that international cooperation, not only for the funding, but also for the technologies and innovation that allow us to be here. All of our partners have a lot of great experience in space, and they're all very different experiences in space. So what we're doing right now, it's important to utilize all of those assets and come together and move forward with a unified position in order to understand how it is we most efficiently and effectively work in space together as a world.
Hey guys, this is Scott Kelly, and the first thing I want to say is it's great to see Serena finally in space, and congratulations, you look great up there. The question I have is for Oleg, and it is under the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. Space explorers like ourselves are considered envoys of humanity. And the question is, for Oleg, what do you think the role of an envoy of humankind should be in 2018?
Hey, Scott, great question for you. Do you guys actually have an interpreter down there so that Oleg could elaborate on what that answer might be?
We probably do somewhere. I think that wouldn't be me, though.
You do have it.
Okay, I'll take the answer, and I think we do. Okay, well, we can give you the answer in Russian then, if you guys would like that.
I must save peace of our planet.
I think, Scott, to elaborate on that for all of us, I think an envoy from space is somebody that really just needs to go out and be a spokesperson for the idea that humans need to live, to learn, and work off of our planet. In the words of the great John Young, single planet species don't last. And I think as a geoscientist, a few of us here that are geoscientists, myself, Ricky, and Alex, would say that on a geologic timescale, we know that humans represent such a small period of time in the history, not only of our planet, but of the universe. So it's important for us, if we want to continue as a species, to be envoys, to be spokespersons for the idea that we need to learn to live in outer space and operate there so that we continue to exist.
This next question is for Ricky. Ricky, what are some examples of how your work on the International Space Station improves the daily lives of people here on Earth? And How is the International Space Station enabling human expansion across the solar system?
Yeah, there's a big answer to that, and a lot of really small ones. I'll start with the big one. I think the six of us up here together and the thousands of people around the world, the overarching ideal here is that we have found a higher plane of agreement, and people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different languages have come together and shown we are capable of remarkable things as a species. And the International Space Station is proof of that. The day-to-day work we do here is twofold, and it's focused on improving life on Earth, rather trying to understand how our planet functions, human health, and developing medicines and tools to deal with diagnostic challenges we have in medicine, to laying the groundwork for what happens to humans. Scott's probably going to talk to you about it, but he spent a lot of time in space, a lot more than I will. And our bodies change. And if we're going to go out into the solar system and be a multiplanetary species, which I think all of us here believe we will be, and I imagine most of you in the audience feel the same way, we've got to understand how those changes occur and how we can protect and mitigate the people we send out as envoys to explore the solar system.
Hi guys, Simona here. Okay, you all are the evidence of the important relationship between education and sustainable development. And I have this question for Serena. Why is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics important to you? And what can we do to encourage more students, including more women and girls, to study in STEM-related fields?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I actually get asked that a lot, and I think it comes out of concern. When I was growing up, I grew up with 3 sisters, no brothers, and it was almost an expectation that in our family that we would go into STEM-related fields because my father was an engineer. But I think what I see nowadays with young girls and young women is they're very interested in learning more about the STEM-related fields, and they're afraid to ask, because they feel like they're going to bother somebody and take away their time, and their time is too precious. So what I tell young girls and young women is to bother. Bother people if you're interested in their work. Bother them if you're interested in their research. Get them to tell you about it. Ask questions. If you're too much of a bother, they'll tell you to go away. But until then, ask, explore, discover. And that's the best way for, I think, young girls and women to become more interested in the STEM fields. Don't be afraid. Step up, ask, and bother.
So the next question will be for Sergey, and a little comment first, and then I'll get to the question. But the ISS is a convergence of science, technology, and human innovation that is helping us learn what it means to be a spacefaring species by demonstrating new technologies and making research breakthroughs not possible on Earth. Again, this question is for Sergey. Can you tell us about any new technologies that you are working with or testing in space?
Urine processing and things like that. For Russian segment, for us, maybe it's not so new, but new equipment. This is urine processor. This is new for us and on ISS. And one more, we have some EVA procedure for new equipment, Icarus. This is a very interesting experiment, and this is really new equipment. Maybe this is help people to understand how wild animals habitation, and it's very interesting.
Well, thank you, Sergey. And, we know how important the urine processor is on the space station. It's actually one of the most important pieces of hardware because getting water to space is so valuable. Thank you.
Simone again, and this is a question for Alex. Alex, 15 nations contributed to the development and assembly of the ISS, and to date, more than 100 nations have participated in some form to ISS utilization. So, what advice do you have on how countries who are new users of space can engage in ISS research or educational activities, or I would say more broadly, could engage in international cooperation, exploring and using space for the benefit of this planet?
Hey, Simona. Yes, good to talk to you, and thanks for the question. It's a really, really good question. And if we look around here, we sometimes forget that, and we have to remind ourselves that we are operating here in the most complex machine that humanity has ever built. And as Drew said before, building things in space is hard. Like, nobody can do that alone, and that's why we partnered up. We built the International Space Station with modules built from various different countries. We put them together in space. Those modules have never been put together on Earth before, and they still fit. This is amazing, an amazing project. More than 100,000 people have built it. And that's also the key to the answer to that question, is that in the future, if we want to be successful in space, we need to partner up. We need to cooperate. So for the new countries coming in, that means, well, partnering up with maybe the countries that are having more experience already, and then build something on top of that. We have this fantastic international cooperation that built the International Space Station, and it's our duty to use it for future projects. This will be the future exploration projects, like Deep Space Gateway, jumping to Moon and to Mars and further on. But this also is valid for any commercial projects that come out of this, right? We have this fantastic laboratory here that is in its return of investment phase, the International Space Station. So we're here, we're happy to use it, we're happy to share it, because all the outcome of the science that we do, that's valid, that's good for everybody on this planet down there. It's not only for the countries who do the research, but for everybody. So in the end, we can benefit even more so from contributions from more countries. We welcome them to come in to partner up with us to do science up here on the International Space Station. I'm really looking forward, as a scientist, as an astronaut, to what's going to come in the future here.
Jim Green again, and before we conclude this event, I'd like to thank the staff of the UN Office of Outer Space Affairs for all the incredibly hard work that they went into the event, but also hosting the International Space Station access that we have here today. But before I go, I'd like to ask one more question, and that is for any of those on station that have looked down recently, where are you?
Right now we are, we don't really know unless we look down as well, but right now we're heading over the middle of the Pacific in the south and headed towards Mexico. So we'll be there shortly, probably in about 20 minutes.
Fantastic. So do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with UNISPACE Plus 50?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you all for coming together and for recognizing that original meeting and the original ideas that of the peaceful uses of outer space and the space treaties. And I hope that as we continue forward as an international group, that we'll all put that common thoughts and rational thoughts will prevail in the way that we utilize space, and really recognizing that the goal should not necessarily be to dominate space, but actually to help facilitate access so that we as a species, not just as individual nations and individual people, but we as a species can continue on past for the future to come.
Well, this has been a blast, and before you fly off into the sunset, on behalf of everyone here, thank you so very much for taking the time to talk to us. This is Vienna, signing off.
Station. This is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you, UNISPACE and participants station. We are now resuming operational audio communication.